Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. It looks like our theme show is not working this morning. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Esteban Hours Weekend Review. I am Esteban, and today is Monday. If you woke up this morning, it is a great morning. How was your weekend? My weekend was full, was good, and is over and hot. It was really, 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 really hot. Okay. Um, we have a lot to discuss for you today. But first, let's bring in our co host, Mr. Jeremy Baker. Hey, Jeremy.
What is going on, man? How was your trip home?
My trip
Yeah,
home was horrible.
I was gonna say, be honest. Don't hold back.
It was ridiculous. A lot of hosting in the airport. But I guess it is what
uh,
it is. It was raining all down the entire East Coast. It was pouring in Florida, where I was, and I hear it was pouring up here in New York just the same. And my flight
uh,
was delayed 3 times. And I dread sitting in the airport. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I rather just change my flight for the next day and leave and go to a hotel or something. But this time I knew I had to get back for work today. And so I had no choice but to sit there.
uh,
So finally they we got going. I'd say about 10:30 at night, got into New York at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, that's
And
awful.
that's the weekend. How was your weekend?
The usual. I worked every day for me. It's like I feel like Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day. Like every day is the same anymore. But I did make it through the week without slapping anybody, so that's always a positive.
That's always good.
I'm joking, of course. I don't obviously condone violence or anything like that, but some people, who man, they would. They're just asking for it, but
I hear that.
laws and such.
I hear that. I hear that. Okay, let's get into this week's weekend review. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. On the docket for the weekend review, first up, we're going to talk about the Central Park jogger, Dr. Yusuf Salem. He was running for, I believe, city council. He was one of the falsely accused rapists of the Central Park jogger um, 20, 30 years ago. So we're going to talk about that. He ran for office several years ago and could not, or he attempted to, I should say, and he could not run because he did not currently at that time live in New York City. I believe he was in Georgia. And so since then, he has relocated back to New York, um, ran for election in one of the city races, and won that seat. We're going to discuss the GOP fight in Michigan. One of them was apparently hospitalized. Something about kicking somebody in the balls or something. I don't know. I thought I was
Mm.
visiting my teacher, my kids at their school, and the school teachers was telling me that this had happened, and then I realized, wait, no, you're reading an article on politicians. Yeah.
Mm.
Then we have this extreme heat. It has been really, really hot. It's been bad. It's been hot in Florida as well. But we had rain all day yesterday, and so that helped it. But we're going to talk about the several states who will be possibly breaking records if they have not already. Then we have on the docket the whistleblower, the newest whistleblower for the GOP, and some stuff behind that. Is he a fugitive or something? Is he a Chinese spy? I don't know. You've got to take it what you read and what you see with a grain of salt these days, because you don't know what's real and what's not. Next, we'll discuss a little bit about Miss Carrie Lake, who um, she holds no office, but somehow she stays in the news cycle. This time, we're going to be talking about her extended stay at Mar-a-Lago. And I guess she's trying to vie for vice president, but she may be quickly kicked to the curb. I don't know. Then next, we're going to talk about Mike Lindell's financial troubles. Like, who didn't see that coming? I mean, many could say in the beginning he is a great businessman, but how great of a businessman are you if you're going to be part of a conspiracy situation while you're owning and holding this multi-million dollar company and not think something is going to go south with that company? What else we got? And I think lastly, we have this Tommy Tuberville video that we're going to discuss a little bit. I just have a note here that says he's an effing idiot.
Is that what I saved it under? I think that might have been the file name. I mean,
uh,
once you see the video, you'll be like, "Yeah, that's right." And
probably.
tell me that doesn't sound like a SpongeBob SquarePants character, like Tommy Tuberville. Just show up.
Okay, I will. All right, let's get into it.
Yo, man.
So first we got Jeremy, this guy Yusuf Salem. Now, this gentleman, I believe it was back in 1990. He was convicted along with four other teenagers by the name of Raymond Santana, Kevin Richardson, Antron McCrae, Corey Wise. They were convicted of raping a Central Park jogger, falsely accused back in 1990. They served 7 years behind bars before they were released and exonerated that they um, did not commit this atrocity. And if you guys remember, these were the five that Donald Trump took out an advertisement at that time, just basically blasting them and saying that New York should bring back the death penalty in regards to them, and then to find out that they were innocent all along. It was really, really bad. And to make it even worse, he refused to take that back, didn't he?
Oh, the
Well,
irony too. And he was recently, no, let's not forget, found liable for sexual assault. Not technically rape, according to New York law, but let semantics, okay? I
right,
mean, really.
right. So you
I think it's a
basically,
remarkable story, but this kid was 15 years old when this happened. Could you imagine? And they coerced him and bullied him into a confession, a false confession.
yeah,
And he,
they said that they deprived them of food, sleep, and water for like a day or over a day, and that's
yep.
what made them admit to these things. But before we move any further on this point, I wanted to ask your opinion on something, because you read a lot of um, articles about circumstances and situations like this where people end up admitting to a crime that they know they did not commit, but they ended up admitting to it because of the tactics of the legal system or the police officers. Would you would you say would you confess to doing something that you knew you didn't, just because of that, especially if it's something as
Mm.
major and serious like rape or murder or anything, sexually inclined? Would you? Because I can't see myself doing that. You're gonna have to kill me, because the way that I would look at it is I'm already you're already doing these bad things to me. So you want me to confess to something I didn't do for what? I'm going to end up going through the system anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
I would understand that it's going to make their job better, but it's not going to make my job better. So you're forcing me not to eat, or not to sleep at this moment. But if I confess for something, you're going to then put handcuffs on me and take me to jail, where I'm
Mm.
not going to want to eat and I'm not going to want to sleep anyway.
I can't imagine the circumstances. I mean, being 15 at the same time. And keep in mind,
Right,
this is back in 1990. This is like pre-internet, like pre all that. You know what I mean?
right.
So I mean, I can't even imagine. But to come from that, I think here actually, the video we have from MSNBC really kind of gives you a really good background on the whole story. So let me
Let's
go and
play
play
that.
there.
The now exonerated five calls it karma. His name is Yusuf Salam, and he has a message for the former president. 34 years ago, your full page ad stated in all caps, civil liberties end when an attack on our safety begins. Now that you are being indicted and are facing criminal charges, I do not resort to hatred, bias, or racism as you did, as you once did. Rather, I am putting my faith in the judicial system to seek out the truth. I hope you exercise your civil
Amen.
liberties to the fullest and that you get what the exonerated five did not get, a presumption of innocence and a fair trial. Joining us now is Yusuf Salam, one of the exonerated five. He is also an author, a motivational speaker, and a candidate for city council in New York City's 9th District.
So going from 15 years old to now being, where he's at. I think it's an inspirational story. And, I hate this. I mean, had he not gone to prison falsely accused, maybe he wouldn't be the person he is today. I mean, you never know. Because I think, there was somebody else that said that they wouldn't be the person. It was oh my God. I can't believe I forget his name. It was
Well,
Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, because he was in prison for all those years, and he had a real good relationship. It's going off topic, but people surrounding him said he became him because of who he became while he was in prison. So I mean, you know what I mean? It's hard. I think maybe he's a stronger person as a result. It's awful that he had to go through hell to get there, but you know what I
well,
mean. Hopefully,
a little bit of what I've read up on is that he wasn't he wasn't what you might deem as a bad child or a bad
right?
seed
Yeah,
from the very beginning. And in fact, now he's a practicing Muslim. He's got 10 children, three of them of whom are his stepchildren. So he's taking care of someone else's children. Back in 2016, President Barack Obama gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. Which was remarkable, to encourage him to go on. And today, I believe he's also a motivational speaker. So, very very proud of this gentleman who took the negative aspect and turned it around into a positive one,
absolutely,
and did not allow a sense of bitterness to set in. It might have always been there, might still be there because we're all imperfect. But to see where he's at today versus 20, 30 years ago, and now holding an elected seat in New York City is speaks volumes, and a plus to him, and hopefully he will hold bigger and better roles within the political system and can be an inspiration and motivation to other black and brown young men who wish to do the same and who can
absolutely.
do the same.
I always say, I mean, I don't know, I doubt I came up with this thing, but I always say just because of the things I've been through, like struggles can create strength. Like going
Yeah.
through hell in your life doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up in a bad place.
Yes.
Those struggles you go through actually will turn you into a person and you'll find an inner strength sometimes you never knew you had if you endure the struggles that you're going through. So
Absolutely.
it's not always it's not always a sad ending or a bad ending to a bad start.
That's right.
But yeah.
Okay. Moving on, we've got this fight in Michigan with GOP Mark DeYoung being hospitalized after allegedly being attacked by James Chapman. James Chapman claims self-defense. Um, what info have you researched on that? When I first saw that, I just laughed because I'm
I
like,
know, right? This
the
is right
children
out.
continue to play. The children continue to play.
Yep, this is straight out of the Independent. This is actually a quote. Something I never thought I'd see in a news article on politicians, but the quote is, He kicked me in my balls as soon as I opened the door. That is a direct quote. So yeah, that did happen. I mean, I guess he was mad because they were locked out of a meeting, and then there was a somebody gave the finger, and it just escalated. Like they act like children, like but
Now,
yeah, I guess it escalated pretty
is
quick.
it true that there were two different GOP meetings being held at the same hotel?
I believe so. Here, let me play the video. I think it'll give me a little bit of a
The
backstory on it.
police responded to an alleged assault at a meeting of Michigan Republicans over the
Unlike
weekend.
Michigan Republicans have very little.
Clare County Republican Party Chair Mark DeYoung told the Detroit News he was attacked on Saturday by James Chapman, a Republican from Wayne County. According to DeYoung, Chapman kicked him in the groin and slammed him into a chair as soon as he opened the door to the meeting room. Chapman claims DeYoung threatened him first. DeYoung denies that, saying he suffered broken ribs in the scuffle and plans to press charges.
But it is funny.
What is going on there? That is nuts.
Okay.
Again, this is a
that is politics, man.
Thank you, MSNBC, for that, by the way, for that little short clip there. But it is comical and ridiculous because, again, we're not talking about children. We're talking
about actual adults.
The same adults that get on TV and say we want to lead our country. We want to be examples of leadership for the United States. And this is another poor example of your style of leadership, Republicans.
It's like they have to hate at all times. It's just out of control.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be setting the example for the rest of us. You know what I mean? They're like supposed to be the leaders. I mean, if that's the best we can offer, we're in trouble. But I mean, stuff like this can't happen at meetings. It can't possibly happen like this. It just
right.
But this is GOP though. This is GOP style. It's anger. It's hate. It's if you don't do it my way, I hate your guts now. It's the whole style they have.
As you can see, they don't discriminate. It's hate and problems not only to the left but to each other, just the same. So
exactly.
Again, where do you have time to take care of the people and your constituents? I see here. So one of them had said, Mr. Chapman had said he had removed his glasses and told Mr. DeYoung by the legs, took Mr. DeYoung by the legs, knocking him down and saying, "When you see me taking my glasses off, I'm ready to rock." Now, I remember saying that back when I was like 17 years old. So, let alone we're talking about politicians. That's a wow factor. Although I would think many people would say no. I don't. This doesn't surprise me at all.
I propose we have to start hiring referees for these meetings. Okay, we have to have somebody in there like a boxing referee or an MMA referee, just to make just in case somebody got to tap out eventually. Bad. I mean, you can't have violence at a meeting like that. That's just stupid. You're not gonna get any. They're obviously not getting anything accomplished that benefits Michigan. Right. So,
and I'm just, I'm sure that as we move on later into the week, it will try, they will try to sweep it under the rug, and act like everything is okay. Nothing happened. They're the best of friends, and we will move on, in harmony, love, amongst us GOP, politicians. Okay.
I have to point out though, that, I mean, if this would have happened in like a Democratic meeting, it would have been all over the news. It's like all you would have been talking about. It's what have been all over Truth
over
Social,
and
like,
over and over
and over and over again. So it's just the hypocrisy is unreal.
Let's talk about heat waves. Let's talk about extreme heat wave conditions here in the United States, and actually not just in the United States. It's all over the world. Europe, Asia, even China is recording its highest temperature ever ever, ever,
globally.
ever.
It says the hottest they've ever in human history. It's
Yeah,
the temperature reached in the globe, the hottest
yeah.
ever.
Right now, there are over 73 million Americans that are under a severe heat wave, and about 7 states, at least, that will be breaking records if they haven't already.
Hmm.
I forget the state that I was looking at yesterday that said it was 100, like 115.
But I
Um,
think Death Valley, they said, reached the hottest, the hottest, if I'm not mistaken, the hottest temperature on Earth ever
yeah,
recorded. I think it was like 130. And there's people that go there as tourists. So like, oh, I want to see what it's like when it's 130. Like, are you are you out of your mind? Stop it. Stop it. But here,
but
let's play this.
they were also reporting that in many states and other countries around the world, they're reporting for people to stay home, stay home, stay home. And not too many tourists are listening to that.
No, not at all. But let me go ahead and play. This is from NBC Nightly News. Just a little quick
With
clip
cars caught
regarding
in
the heat wave
floodwaters near the nation's capital, mudslides in Vermont, and
or the
overnight hail
weather.
roughly as big as baseballs crashing down in Colorado. Tonight, a wild
Wow.
weather week isn't over, though some Americans are getting relief. Extreme heat threatening 20 million people across the U.S. That's down from Thursday's 24 million, but still dangerous for many, with parts of Florida and the Southwest most at risk.
Yeah, unfortunately, no relief in sight for us with the way things are stacking up so far.
Phoenix topping 110 degrees for the 7th day in a row. El Paso now recording triple-digit temps every day for more than 3 weeks straight.
That's insane.
Hey, can you hear me, man?
And newly released video from outside Tucson shows what officials say are 2 Americans suffering from heat stress being rescued by helicopter.
Wow.
Sweltering heat impact.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable everywhere. And
Yeah.
then, we still have people that are like, oh, climate change isn't real. Man, it's happening all around us. It
I
really
was going
is.
to say that, yeah, you do have folks that say this is nothing new. We go through this every year. This is what the summertime is supposed to be about, and that could be true. But what records, what the records are showing, improving year after year, is that it's getting worse year after year. The temperatures are rising year after year. The ice is melting faster than ever year after year. People would argue that we've always had tornadoes and hurricanes for thousands of years. That is true, but they're getting worse and worse. More people are dying. More property, personal property, and public property is being destroyed by these devastating storms. So
Well,
it's
it's
like,
well, actually, it's you just came from Florida. It's down there the insurance companies like I believe AAA, not I think it's Farmers Insurance. I should have pulled it up. Are pulling out of insuring new homes in Florida because of the climate, because they keep getting hit with such severe storms that now they don't even want to insure because they're losing money in the market there. And as a result, housing prices are going through the roof. I mean, a lot of things other than just the climate are affected by climate change, and I think finally people are starting to see it.
right.
It's happening all around us. So hopefully people start paying attention eventually. I doubt it for a
I mean,
while, but
you do ask yourself year after year, when are people going to start to pay more attention to it? When half the earth is gone, is done. When we get a complete devastating catastrophe that we cannot return from, that will impair human lives for the rest of our lives, our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives. When is change going to come? One thing that bothers me is when you hear a lot of folks on whichever side talk about the prosperity of their children and their grandchildren. For example, with the debt, the national debt, and we can't, we're leaving all of this for our children to have to deal with and our grandchildren. And I say the same applies when it comes to climate change. We are leaving a worse off home, planet, Earth to our children and our grandchildren just because of by means of the almighty dollar, or riches and things of that sort. When are we going to start to take it seriously, of climate change?
Well, yeah. I think the current administration is paying attention to it and doing the right thing. But we need continuity, though, in order to kind of solve the problem. So if we get another person in there that's no concern for the climate change, doesn't believe it's real, you know what I mean? It's just going to be oil and coal. These guys are crazy. They don't care about the environment. They just want to make money. It's all about capitalism, man. It's all about making money in this country.
And as I mentioned before, this is not just affecting us here at home in the United States. Scientists have warned that a marine heat wave off the coast of the United Kingdom and Ireland pose a serious threat to species. Sea temperatures, particularly off the northeast coast of England and the west of Ireland, are several degrees above normal, breaking records for late spring and early summer. Some may say, oh, that's not a big deal. But isn't it true that it could be 1 degree off and that will hold some type of consequence in the scientific world?
So
It's
gonna be weird in the next few years. I think we're gonna see a lot of change. So we'll see. We'll have to see it play out. I mean, it's gonna be a slow process. So.
Right. And the question is that's going to be if it's going to be good change, or bad change. We shall see. All right, moving on. Another whistleblower, Jeremy. Another GOP whistleblower.
Yeah. All right.
Tell us about
Okay,
this one.
so this is I cut in the what's his name, James Comer having his mic drop moment, I guess you could call it, and then I got MSNBC's reaction. They're a good source of information. So let me go and play this real quick. I love the reaction to this.
Incredible. And the people on MSNBC who made fun of me when I said we had an informant that was missing, they should feel like fools right now.
They are fools.
And this is their worst nightmare because, again, this is a credible witness.
So to recap, Joe. This man
believe
looked James Comer and
Hold on.
Stupidity.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a checklist.
So he's your man. That Congressman Comer, the head of oversight, Senator Ron Johnson has been on TV a lot talking about this man as well. They've hung their case. They said he can tell the story of the alleged Biden crime family doing business with China, et cetera. He is accused in an 8-count indictment, among other things, of being an illegal arms broker. An unregistered
illegal arms dealer. Okay.
Unregistered agent for the Chinese government.
This gets worse.
Working with the Chinese illegally. Okay. I get that one.
Helping China to get Iranian oil in violation of U.S. sanctions.
Okay, hold on. I've got to put down illegally. Hold on. Illegally smuggling.
I love the passive aggressiveness of his tone. But you get the picture. I mean, this guy, that's their credible witness. That's the guy they wanted to hang their cape on and put up front and say, oh, this Biden did this. No, Biden didn't do anything. That guy would have said anything to get a deal because that's why he got indicted. So that's what he was doing.
This is the latest whistleblower, right? After
this is the one they said that they lost
or something.
I think this is the same guy that supposedly disappeared, but then there was the Burisma one, which got blown out of the water too. Like they're just making themselves look absolutely stupid. I mean, let's be honest. They do not. They can't say the word credible witness at the same. Like you can't put those two words together with those guys anymore. because none of their witnesses have been credible. They're either being paid by somebody associated with a political party, or they're being indicted for doing oil deals for weapons. For crying out loud, man. Come on. Stop
And
it.
Republicans are crying foul that there are spy charges against this person, aren't they? As if there are charges because he's a whistleblower, and not because he's actually there may be alleged proof of some sort of wrongdoing.
No, there's no wrongdoing on the Biden family. Just this guy telling stories. But this is typical, though. They'll like read a piece of paper, not verify any of the information, go running to the news, scream all over the news about it, and then this happens. This is what happens when you don't check the credibility of your witness and then go on TV and say, we have a credible witness. It's like not doing a background check to buy a gun. Like, seriously,
Right.
You're not going to do any history on this guy. Did Republicans not know that fact check? I swear they don't know Google exists. We have a clip in here of Mr. Tuberville. Man, that guy's never even heard of Wikipedia. I guarantee it. But this is the stuff we're dealing with. But these people are in power. These people have so much power right now that it makes me sick to my stomach. If they just had a little bit more power, man, we'd be in trouble.
And they do know,
would be in so much trouble.
And they do know what Google is and where any of this information can be found and researched at. I just feel that their hopes are, or they're talking to the people that do not know how to do that, or do not have internet, and will only go by what they hear and what they see.
They should support Biden's broadband plan, because apparently they ain't getting some of those places. They should be supporting his internet plan.
Well,
man,
it says here, 4 days after he claimed to be a very credible witness, or the claims of being a credible witness had emerged, providing the Justice Department with derogatory information about President Biden and his family. They were questioning the timing of charges, that this alleged whistleblower had actually been spying for the Chinese government and attempting to broker illegal arms sales to Libya. He was not recorded as a registered foreign agent, and so that's how this progressed. But it is.
I mean, let's put it in perspective, though, for people out there that are watching. I mean, how much information was shared? I mean, this guy was an foreign agent for China. How much information has been compromised as a result of the stupidity of the MAGA Republican Party? I mean, seriously, think about it. These guys are talking to people that are spies for other countries and doing weapons deals for oil against U.S. sanctions.
How
seriously,
would that not become public? How do they expect that not to become public?
Right. It doesn't make any sense. But, again, we're not dealing with normal people anymore.
No.
Things have gone goofy.
All right. Moving on.
Yep.
Kari Lake. Has Trump really turned on Kari Lake, which has been one of his largest cheerleaders? So I hear that she has been camping out at Mar-a-Lago for quite some time now. Many say that she's vying for the vice president spot under Donald Trump. Tell us some information that you found out.
So apparently she's been living in a luxury suite provided for by Trump himself. There's no reporting that they're like, she definitely wants to be vice president. And the problem that at first her tactic, I think, worked. In your face, election denial, the whole 9 yards. I mean, let's keep in mind, Kari Lake has never been in public office. She's a TV personality who failed in one election, can't get over the fact that she lost, and her only way to cling back to power is to try and do something stupid like this. So let's see. Let me pull up the article by Guardian. I think her tactic, though, kind of failed miserably because she is an attention hog, which is kind of
And
good
that's
and
what I
kind of
wrote.
bad because
That's what I read. That one of the things that Trump does not like about her basically is that she is him. She is an attention hogger, and that's what he is.
yep.
That wants attention, and will do it by any means necessary. So perhaps maybe that's why they could be clashing right now.
He doesn't like when you take too much of the limelight away from him. He's such a freaking narcissist, man. Like, seriously, she would literally, and I don't mean this in a weird way, bend over backwards for him. There's no other way to say it. I mean, she literally is bought into everything that he has said and done, and never has questioned him one time.
Yeah.
All she did was take a
Okay.
little bit too much of his attention,
It
and
doesn't.
boom.
It doesn't matter. After what he did to Mike Pence, nothing else matters. No one else's loyalty is going to matter. Mike Pence, in my opinion, was the most loyal person to him, right under him, and that meant nothing to him after 4 years. So if he can do that, he'll throw his own wife under the bus if it's
we
not
said it.
him.
Absolutely. We said it on the show before, though. Like, he demands absolute loyalty, but gives
gives
none
zero.
in return.
Yeah.
Not a single bit in return. You know what I mean? And it drives me nuts when he does this stuff.
What
But
drives me nuts is the fellow Republicans that know that, and they see that, especially after the last 7 years or so, and they still kiss his butt when they know that you do realize all you need to do is just say one thing wrong or make one respect, and you've lost him for good. You are now a
Completely.
rhino or deep state or whatever.
Completely. Doesn't even matter, man. Like, I think he cut Marjorie Taylor Greene off, too. I think he wants, like, RFK Jr. to be his running mate, man. Dumb and Dumber. Tweedledee and Tweedledum, man. Can you imagine those two together? Whew. That'd be a nightmare, man. I'm moving to Mexico, where everything makes sense at that point.
That's
for real.
Speaking of crazy people, Mike Lindell has been in the media lately because he has revealed that his MyPillow business has lost over $100 million.
Yes.
And he has been auctioning off various types of equipment from warehouses that were used to manufacture his pocket. So when I read this, I'm like,
laughing.
Is who is shocked? Who is shocked at this? Could he be considered the smartest business owner or the dumbest? Because he was front center in the election lies, in the conspiracies that were being told, and the information that was fabricated. He was Grand Central center space in trying to overturn the election results in 2020. So now you've got many people who used to buy his product. I have bought a MyPillow.
Did you? Is it any good? Like, is it? You know what? You can get a pallet of those right now, a whole pallet. I think it comes out to like $3. I looked it up. It was like $3.80 a pillow. A whole pallet of pillows right now on auction. You could buy a Sprinter van, a MyPillow Sprinter van for $2,500, and a Freightliner truck. I think you could get for like $6 or $8 grand.
Well,
like, it's insane. But
more power to other small businesses that could benefit from the products or the equipment that he's trying to sell. However, even before he got into politics, I've had purchased some of his products and I did not feel that they were anything special, different, or unique.
all
from
marketing.
another pillow. I thought that his marketing and advertisements and promotions were A plus. So whoever his marketing company was, they did a great job of marketing it, but it was nothing special. And then as they tried to um, uh, um, increase the company by adding other products, sheets and pillowcases and shoes and stuff like that. Again, a good marketing strategy, but in my opinion, it was all crap.
Yeah, I have a good video for us to reference here. This is from Young
Having
Turks, I
a
believe, on
dumpster sale
YouTube.
because all of his products are trash. Let's put it up full mass. So he's saying, well, according to the Star Tribune, Mike Lindell's company, My Pillow, is auctioning hundreds of surplus equipment as a result of loss in revenue reports. According to the report, items such as sewing machines, industrial fabric spreaders, forklifts, and even desks and chairs are up for auction on a website called K-Bid.
Yeah, that's where you look it up. That's where you look it up. K-Bid. You can buy My Pillow gear for cheap, and then do whatever you want with it. all this because he bought into and promoted a lie. I think he's gonna be part of the Jan 6 indictment, along with the old Overstock guy. He was neck deep in this shit, both of them. You know what I mean? They were involved in every conversation. Like they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And then this is what you get. I mean, Bath and Body dropped them. Walmart dropped them. There's another couple of large retailers that will not sell his products, all because he tried to help overthrow democracy.
So you just said this is what you get, and I was going to say you reap what you sow.
There you go.
He's got to be even more stupid than we would think if he thought that he was going to spew all of that hate, lies, and conspiracies, and walk away with it with an equally profitable company or higher. So I'm disappointed that the lack of intelligence in that realm was there. I mean, he put into jeopardy $100 million company and lost
it all. And that's an employee-owned company, so that's not just going to hurt him. That's going to hurt every one of the employees as well that bought into all that stuff. It's going to hurt pensions. It's going to hurt all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
people are going to lose a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But not our business. We didn't spew hate or conspiracies, and we don't own $100 million company. So we can rightfully move on. All right.
Yep.
Last on the docket today.
My favorite topic of the week.
Your favorite topic of the day, Mr. Tommy Tuberville, who said white nationalists are not racist and refused to denounce them.
We got it. All right. This is why we should be pouring money into education. Okay. This video. This is why we should never, ever discuss defunding education. I'm just going to play this clip and you'll understand what I mean.
White nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans.
Idiot.
Do you want to explain those comments, Senator?
Yeah,
yes,
first of all, I'm totally against any type of racism, okay? I was a football coach for 40 years. And
here's racism part number one.
Had opportunity to be around more minorities than anybody up here on this hill.
Let's pause this for a second. Because when I saw this interview, when he brought that up, that he was a coach for a football league for many years, I just grinned and said to myself, what in the hell does that have to do with racism? So now you show off a little bit that you had black people in your space, and so that makes you a great person. No, it doesn't.
I think I got it right now. Listen, he says I dealt with at first, then he catches himself, and then he switches it to had the opportunity. It's very subtle, but listen.
Okay, I was a football coach for 40 years, and I dealt and had opportunity to be around more minorities than anybody up here on this field.
You catch himself. He's like, I dealt with it.
Our military has been attacked, was being attacked after 9/11, after January the 6th, and that was my first day on the Senate floor. I thought it was outrageous of what senators from the Democratic side, Chuck Schumer said on the floor that night, calling out people, calling people racist, calling people nationalists, white nationalists. White nationalists is just another word that they want to use other than racism. I'm totally against anything to do with racism. But the thing about being a white nationalist is just a cover word for the Democrats now, where they can use it to try to make people mad across the country. Identity politics.
He literally thought that white nationalism was just a slang word the left used to describe racist white people or white people. I don't know. The guy's an idiot. He did not know what white nationalism meant, obviously, because he tried to say, I'm against racism. But, you know, white nationalism, yeah, they're fine. They're Americans. What's the big deal?
In the meantime, these white nationalists that aren't racists, and you find them, they are Americans. He's watching what they do on TV every day. He's watching their actions, and their actions don't show anything positive, right? It doesn't show love. It doesn't show real patriotism for this country, because everyone who's considered an American is part of America. And so if you don't like one factor or one culture, how could you be a patriot because that person or that thing does not correspond with your liking?
I mean, it's in the title. It's in the title. Like white nationalism, the first part of that last word is nation. They believe in just a white nation. That's what they want. That's their end game. That's the scary part, okay? Because that's what the white nationalism means. They think it should be just white people. Everybody else should leave. That's how these people think. And it's absolutely disgusting that we still have to deal with this shit. Not only do we have to deal with it now, it's become almost normalized anymore.
Yeah.
Like you don't even get shocked anymore to see some kind of racist, nasty. I mean, I'm not even going to repeat it because then we'll get in trouble. What one congressman, I believe he is, the term he used, okay, he did. Let's just say he did not use the term people of color. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying, in a hearing. In a public hearing, and this guy's elected official using terms like that, like Jim Crow era terms we're talking about. That's what we're dealing with,
and it's okay to them. Another factor that just really bothers me is how they are so nonchalant with the idea of white nationalists not being racist and they're being great people, but they don't fail to bring out constantly the Antifa folks. Antifa is this, Antifa is that. They're bad. They're not American. So I'm like, but the concept does not is not the same. It's not equal. So it's okay to see these white nationalists do what they do. But then you put down the Antifa people who, you know, you can arguably say some of their tactics are not, are not, full of patriotism. But how do you put one down and not the other? And both of theirs end points could be a little similar, similar, because Antifa are not going around threatening people and stopping other humans from enjoying their own lives.
Look,
but
I'll be more than happy to say it as a white person. White nationalists are literally the worst type of people we have in this country. They are they are holding us back as a society. White nationalism and ideals like that are holding our society back from progressing to what it could be. They think that this distorted dystopian future they have in their heads is going to exist when it's not. I mean, it's just never going to be like that again. But now, unfortunately, our generation and our future generations are going to probably have to deal with this for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it's sad, but like I said, we see it every single day now, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. I'm sure that we will have many more conversations in regards to white nationalists and racism and things of that sort as the time goes along, especially with what's going on in our political realm. Women's right to choose is being taken away. People's rights to be serviced in a business setting is being taken away, and whatever else might be coming in the future until we change the political realm within the House and the Senate.
I mean, look, Florida is the perfect example, and I hate talking about Florida all the time, but Florida is the perfect example of what happens when you do these authoritarian racist policies. I mean, the whole state started to fall apart because, like, all the migrant workers left. Most migrants left in general because they made hospitals.
Yeah.
They had to check. They had to check immigration status before they would treat people. They would do stuff like, oh my God, doctors are leaving because the abortion thing, because they don't want to be put in a position whether they have to choose whether to give an abortion or let somebody die. Those are literally the options. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's an example of what. Just use Florida as an example of what could happen if we allow these people to take over the country.
That's right. Amen. Amen to that. All right. Thank you, Jeremy. That is going to be the conclusion of this week's Week in Review. We will keep you updated on some of the stories that we've mentioned today that are ongoing. And we'll pose that to you throughout the week or even at next week's Weekend Review. Stay tuned for this week's podcast on Friday night. And some other highlights that we will have coming on during the week. Have a great week. Don't forget to do something kind for someone else. That always puts a smile on your face. And you know how to reach us here at the Esteban Hour's Week in Review. Please follow, like, share the live. Sharing is caring. Any questions or comments that you may have in regards to today's episode, drop a DM at any time and someone will get back to you. Okay, we thank you to all of our correspondents and affiliates of whose clips that we shared with our audience today. And again, stay safe, stay cool, stay hydrated in this heat time. I can't stress that enough. If you have an accomplishment or goal that you've achieved today, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how we do it.